It's a new year, which means I'm doing what I do every year, seeing if there is a new Might and Magic RPG or a Heroes of Might and Magic game. Hell, at this point, I'd take a sequel to Dark Messiah. For the uninitiated, Might and Magic is a classic high fantasy franchise that had its heyday in the 90s. The Heroes of Might and Magic series is a staple of how to execute strategic turn-based combat and city building, while the mainline series are dense party-based WRPGs in sprawling, memorable worlds. Times have changed though, and while there actually is a new Might and Magic game this year, it happens to fall into the auto-battler genre. Might and Magic Chess Royale injects the universe and creatures of the franchise into the strategy genre, where you compete in a number of one-on-one matches that lead to knockout rounds and eventually result in a sole winner. The Might and Magic franchise persisting is a wonderful thing, but trying to enter the auto-battler genre in its current state probably isn't a good move for Ubisoft for a bunch of reasons. And for patient fans hoping for a big mainline game, it's not great news for them either. But I'm getting ahead of myself, so let's back up a bit and explain what on earth an auto-battler is. The auto-battler genre only kicked off early last year with the release of Dota Auto Chess, a community-created mod for Dota 2 where you manage resources to create a garrison of complementary units and arrange them in strategic ways to defeat your opponents in one-on-one matches. The catch is you can only control the setup and the rest of the battle executes automatically, thus the name Auto Battler. Valve hastily developed the auto chess-inspired Dota Underlords, which was quickly joined by offerings from many other major studios dominating the free-to-play market. League of Legends developer Riot released Teamfight Tactics, and Blizzard revealed Hearthstone Battlegrounds, both of which work the Auto Battler format into their existing worlds in unique ways. On top of that, the original team behind Dota Auto Chess now have their own game on the Epic Store called Auto Chess. Long-winded explanation short, there are a lot of places you can play an Auto Battler right now. Might and Magic Chess Royale is only in an early access state right now, so it's understandable that balancing is currently unrefined. But the main thing Ubisoft is touting as its defining feature simply isn't good in its current state. Said feature is a far quicker gameplay loop than others in the genre, but it currently feels frantic, particularly in later rounds, and there isn't enough room to apply real strategy. While the early game is slow, late game there isn't enough time before the action kicks off to rearrange your troops, inspect your spells, sort your synergies, and gain the competitive advantage through logic. In some circumstances, I knew exactly what I wanted to do, but the late game time constraint, in addition to some unreliable hitboxes, left the wrong troops on the board when the battle commenced. On top of that, the auto-populating data which plays out during a battle is delivered too quickly, and as a result, it's hard to review your tactics and reshuffle to design a more effective garrison. Winning logic does in some part rely on choosing and creating creatures with aligned synergies, proper board placement, and use of spells. Unfortunately, some synergy buffs are far more useful than others, and the more you play, the more you realize there are characters and playstyles you absolutely have to gravitate toward if you want to do well. Outside of the game's quality in its current state, the move into the auto-battler genre feels like a fall from grace for the franchise. The Might and Magic name used to stand for innovation and imagination. It led the charge as an example of how to execute a brilliant turn-based strategy game in the early 90s, and its mainline series illustrated compelling fantasy worlds with deep party-based WRPG systems. Despite the relative infancy of the auto-battler genre, Ubisoft faces extraordinarily stiff competition against the ultra-polished offerings by Valve, Riot, and Blizzard, which dominate the genre and have the development expertise and invested audiences to continue to do so. By that same token, fans with nostalgia for the Might and Magic franchise are attached to the complexity of the fantasy worlds and the sprawling systems built beneath them. Bringing the franchise to the genre of the moment is a risky move when that genre is inundated by franchises with huge player bases that already show an interest in strategic competitive multiplayer games, i.e., not the audience of the Might and Magic franchise. Don't get me wrong, it is a delight to see Might and Magic's suite of magical creatures feature in a new game. And I'm happy to say the Battle Royale element of Chess Royale is the first I've managed to score back-to-back wins in. But this isn't the meaty game that patient Might and Magic fans have been hoping for. Chess Royale is enjoyable enough, but it's a shallow experience in its current state. Valve, Riot, and Blizzard's offerings all have their quirks that play with the higher levels of strategy, such as Dota Underlord's use of heroes or the drafting system in Teamfight Tactics, where you pick new champions based on the order of your successes so far, a process that elevates poorer performing players. In the case of Might and Magic Auto Chess, there is little to differentiate itself in a positive way. The matches are too fast for effective strategy, certain synergies feel overpowered, and some spells are downright game-breaking. In Chess Royale's defense, there is a joy in getting into a multiplayer game on the ground floor and mastering it alongside everyone else, especially as other auto battlers on the market are so closely tied to their games of origin. That is to say, you're going to have an easier time quickly plotting good garrison combos in Battlegrounds if you already have a knowledge of Hearthstone. Chess Royale does share elements of this, but in a less useful way. Longtime Might and Magic players will know to keep archers and magic users toward the back line, but so will anyone who knows about basic army strategy. This isn't the first time Ubisoft have tested the Might and Magic franchise with an up-and-coming genre of the moment, and more than anything, it seems to cement the end of the mainline RPG and strategy series in favor of mobile and free-to-play avenues, which is a sad reality for fans with so much nostalgia for the franchise. Back in 2019, the Ubisoft Might and Magic creative director Erwan Le Breton told AcidCave.net, "For a large company like Ubisoft, turn-based strategy titles like Heroes are now too costly to produce because of the scope expectations and our overhead costs, and too limited in their sale potential." Might and Magic Chess Royale might have been an opportunity for the franchise to be revitalized, but it will undoubtedly disappoint fans who are holding out for a bigger game that reminded them of the ones they loved in the past. Let me know if the draw of red dragons and harpies is enough for you to want to try this one out, if you've dipped your toe in the auto battler genre, or if, like me, you're still holding out hope that this isn't the end of the line for the Might and Magic franchise's mainline entries.